Okay, excited to have this next guest joining us. It's the coach at University of New Hampshire, Coach Nathan Davis. So, Coach, thanks so much for coming back on the podcast this year.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so back here, back in Connecticut, playing UConn in year two. So you've got them twice now in your first 2 years. Let's look back. How'd year one go for you? All settled in New Hampshire now?
We're settled in. I thought it was a quality first year. I think that our guys tried. They did the best they could. We were able to, finish fourth in the league. We're competitive with everybody, had a chance, and now we're trying to take the next step. So I'm really excited to look forward to seeing what this team can become.
I'm curious from your perspective, as you're going about building this New Hampshire program, what are kind of the goals for year two of you as you're, ultimately going towards, your goals of being an NCAA tournament team?
I think your goal every year, no matter what, is to compete to win the league, and to be able to put a group on the floor that has a chance to do that. And the current landscape of college basketball, there's good and bad, but one of the things you can do is you can turn over rosters pretty quickly when you have to, and you're going to have to a lot because people are going to leave and people are going to go. But I'm really excited about this group we've assembled with 11 new players. There's always growing pains and learning how to play with each other and learning systems and things like that. But I think that potential-wise and talent-wise, I think we're way ahead of where we were last year. We're bigger, stronger, more athletic, probably more skilled, more diverse with a lot of things we can do. But we got to put it together, and that takes time.
Yeah, no, bringing together 11 new guys seems like a fun challenge there. What was the off season like as you started working to get this group of newcomers kind of buying into your system and getting ready for the start of the season here?
It's always hectic. I think that between the recruiting that never kind of ends, once the season ends, you're trying to put your roster together, then they're back in the summer, which is very important. We didn't have everybody. We had a few internationals just with visas and things. They couldn't get here until the school started, but you're able to kind of get them together, lay the foundation of what you want to be, how you want to play, get an idea for what their skill set really is, how to put them in the possessed position, and then moving forward, how to adapt it. And that's kind of where we are right now. We've added some new guys. We're still trying to figure our group out and how to adapt what we've been doing to take the most advantage of their skills.
Yeah. So let's dive into the roster a little bit for UConn fans who might not be familiar with your team and the guys coming into to Hartford over the weekend. Take us through the roster a little bit in terms of who fans should be keeping their eyes out for on your team.
Well, I think probably the easiest way to go, I'll start with the group I would anticipate starting, barring injuries or something like that, between now and game time. Sammy Pieces has been our starting point guard the first two games. Junior college transfer. That's been his first year at Southeast Louisiana. And then was at Chipotle Junior College last year. He's from Paris, actually.
Okay.
Originally, we did go to high school in the U.S. And he's a 6'3" guard, dynamic. He's got a good athlete, can finish at the rim, can make threes, and help create shots for other guys. Probably his strength offensively is in ball screens. He does a good job of reading those things. At the last couple of games, we started Anthony McComb, another transfer from Bowling Green, 6'3" wing, was hurt a lot last year, so didn't play a ton his sophomore year at Bowling Green, and they had a coaching staff change. But another guy we think can create shots. When he takes good threes, like most guys, when he takes good shots, they tend to go in. And he's got the size and strength to defend for us. At the three was one of our three returners, Trey Woodyard, who made a big jump between his sophomore and junior year last year. Three-level score offensively. We don't obviously emphasize mid-range shots a lot, but he can put the ball on the floor and attack off the drive. He can actually put his back to the basket, and he can make threes as well. At the four is another transfer from Iona, Dylan Saunders, who's a stretch four, really has deep range, and then certain matchup situations can go back to the basket as well. And then at the five, we started Emmanuel Okpomo, who's a transfer from Temple, 6'10", 225. And what we really liked about him when we recruited him was his ability, I think, to play the post one-on-one. He was going against good players in that league, especially the kid at FAU, the rushing. He was able to hold his own one-on-one with them, which helps your defense tremendously. And then he can provide a little bit of a presence offensively as well with his size down there. Off the bench on the perimeter, two returners. We'll start with them. Rex Sunderland, who's a junior, and Davide Poser, who's a sophomore. Davide's from Italy. Rex is from Utah. Rex kind of plays a combo for us. We'll play some on the ball, some off the ball. And those two guys, they really steady us. Davide is an excellent shooter with range. Rex is a capable shooter, but they'll both make really good decisions with the ball and really kind of settle our offense, especially down when they're out there. And then with the other spots right now. We're a little bit young. We have a couple guys out, but Antonio Swarek from Poland's a freshman. There's always an adjustment time coming over from a foreign country with a new language and the new style of play and the physical size and strength is always an adjustment. Any freshman, especially coming over there, but another skilled player right now. We're playing him mostly as a 4-man, but I think as his career progresses, he could become, a 3.
Okay.
Stronger and better with moving his body and things like that. And then, sorry, at the 5, we've got 2 freshmen, Caleb Middleton and John O'Neill. Caleb's a local kid who went to Brewster Academy in New Hampshire, and then John's from Wisconsin, was a good high school player and well coached. And I think they've got bright futures for us. They've actually played better in our first 2 games than I thought they would. I thought they adjusted very well. Obviously, this is going to be a different animal from what they've seen so far. But I thought they've adjusted well. They're skilled. They hold their own. But like any freshman, it takes time. And the other guy I mentioned is Khalil Badru, who's probably our most athletic player. On the bench at the wing, really more of a 3. Could play some 4 and 2, but he's our most athletic player and could be our best defender. Then we have 2 guys out that won't play. That would have been in as well.
Looking to add some local flavor to your lineup? Martin Rosel's is the MVP of your game day spread and a slam dunk for any occasion. Proudly made in hard-hitting New Britain, their famous kielbasa and hot dogs have been a fan favorite for over 96 years. You can find their products in grocery stores across the state or have them delivered directly to your home court, coast to coast, via martinrosel.com. Take your taste buds to the championship and go support a UConn fan-owned business. Yeah, no, I mean, you go through the roster. Seems like you've got a pretty athletic and some big guys on this team. I'm not used to, I think, seeing 6'10", 225 in the America East. So
that was a big emphasis. We felt like when we played, obviously with us, it's about winning the league. And learning what we need to learn and putting ourselves in a position to win the league. And so you're trying to attract guys you feel can do that. And our big emphasis in the offseason was we felt like we had to be bigger, stronger, and more athletic to do that. And that was a big emphasis as far as who we were able to bring in.
As you talk to your team about this matchup against UConn, what challenges do you see in going up against a team like UConn this weekend?
It'd be easier to go through the challenges you don't see about going up against. I think that, I honestly hadn't watched them until after we played last night. Playing them last year, there's some roster turnover, but you're familiar with some of the guys and all that. I think it starts with, one, how hard they play. They play really, really hard. And that jumps off the screen at you when you watch them play. I think they're really unselfish. They play together. They take good shots, which is another challenge. And then they go rebound it really well. So there's 3 big challenges right there for us. So I think that they force you to play really well to have a chance to beat them. And you're going to go out there and give everything you got and try to win every possession and see what happens. Yeah.
This is this game this week for you against UConn will be your 3rd game in a week. How do you keep guys fresh throughout the week? I know it's early, so everyone should be peak right there, their freshness. But how do you keep guys fresh for 3 games in a week?
Well, first off, remind them they'd rather play than practice. I can guarantee you, everyone would much rather play a game than practice. So that helps. But no, you gotta monitor how long you're practicing, how much you're getting up and down the floor, because games take a lot out of you.
Yeah.
One thing is, we're going to play 10 guys, so there is going to be time to subs. There's no reason you shouldn't be playing really hard as long as you're out there. But yeah, it's a long season. It's a long season. So you gotta be conscious of what you're doing outside of the games when you're playing so many. We're playing Saturday. Then we play Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday next week too.
Okay.
So we got 3 more games next week. We actually have 4 games in the next 8 days.
Yeah. So you're gonna know a lot about your team over the next 2 weeks here.
So we'll learn a lot about ourselves, but getting better and having a chance to practice all that and balancing it with being fresh is always a challenge. Like I said, they're 18 to 22. They'd rather play than practice anyway. So I know you are.
Yeah, for sure. Now that you've gotten a couple games under your belt this week, what have you liked the most about your team through these first 2 games?
I think in areas when you count the scrimmage, I think in the areas that we identified coming out of each of them that we needed to improve, I think we have. We early on, it's going to be huge against UConn, obviously, is we rebounded really poor in our scrimmage. I think we've gotten better. I was actually really pleased with the way we rebounded against UMass. Now, UMass and UConn are completely different animals. I'm not. Yeah. But for us to take a step, that's a step in the right direction. We done it much better. We needed to take better care of the ball. We did that in the, against UConn. We were about four, or not against UConn, against UMass. We were at, they really pressured. We were at 14% turnovers for the
Mhm.
game, which is good. Now, the problem was a bunch of them led to breakaways. They were live ball turnovers. And so we've got to get that under control. We've got to do a better job in transition. We haven't been where we need to be transition defense. We got to do a better job in that. I think we've done a much better job with our spacing. I thought yesterday, obviously it's not the same team as a UConn or UMass. We did a better job when we got in the lane with our decision making and what we were doing. So if we're going to be successful, we've got to be able to guard positionally. We're not all over the place. We got to help each other. We got to pressure the ball in the right spots. We got to keep the ball out of the paint. We got to rebound, right? And we got to disrupt as we can with pressure on the ball. Offensively, we got to have great pace. We have great space, and we got to get in the lane and make good decisions. And I think we've made steps in the right direction, all those, but we're not there yet. It's a long way to go. It's November, 7th, 8th now. So
Yeah,
that should be the case,
yeah, for
especially
sure.
when you're doing 11 new guys,
Yeah.
that should be the case.
And what did I see after this UConn game? I know you mentioned you got another nice stretch of games there. Did I see Fairfield and Sacred Heart there? So you're getting the Connecticut trio the next 2 weeks
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, so we have Fairfield coming up here on Tuesday, and then we're playing down at Brown, and they're MTE, and so we're playing Brown, Fairfield, or Brown, Sacred Heart, and Holy Cross next weekend
Okay.
too.
All right. So a lot of people here who like Connecticut basketball get to see your team. They follow the other
Absolutely.
teams here too. So, Coach, I really appreciate you taking some time to hop on. Best of luck, and we'll talk soon.
All right, I appreciate you having me. Take care.
Anytime.